We tend to think of our planet as this solid, stable rock beneath our feet, right? A constant in this vast, crazy universe. But what if that stability is just an illusion? What if our entire existence is balanced on a cosmic knife's edge? To really get a feel for this, we need to ask a really simple but kind of mind bending question.
Just think about that for a second. You wake up one morning, you look out, and it's just us and the sun. No Mars, no Venus, no giant Jupiter hanging out there. At first, you might think, so what? More room for us. But as we're about to see, our cosmic neighbors are way more important than you could ever imagine.
So, to really understand why losing all the other planets would be, well, catastrophic, we first got to appreciate the delicate system they're all a part of. That's really the best way to put it. Our solar system isn't just a random jumble of rocks and gas floating around. Nope, it's an incredibly intricate gravitational dance. Every single planet, no matter how far away, is pulling on every other planet, creating this perfect, stable equilibrium that keeps Earth exactly where it needs to be for all of us to be here. Okay, so what happens when you start yanking pieces out of that machine? Let's dive right into the consequences of that first big question. Right, so this is where the trouble starts, immediately. Earth sits in what we call the Goldilocks zone. Not too hot, not too cold, just right for life. But that position isn't guaranteed. It's held in place by the gravitational tug of war with all the other planets. Take them away, and that balance is gone. Our orbit would go haywire. We could get pulled in closer to the sun, boiling our oceans away, or we could drift outward, becoming a frozen, lifeless ice ball. And then there's Jupiter. Oh man, Jupiter is our big brother, our cosmic bodyguard. Its gravity is so immense that it acts like a giant vacuum cleaner for the solar system. It sucks in or just flings away countless asteroids and comets that would otherwise be on a direct collision course with Earth. Without Jupiter, it would be like living in a cosmic shooting gallery. Impacts that wiped out the dinosaurs could become a regular, terrifying event. Okay, now get ready for this, because it's a consequence you probably never thought of. Our moon. Scientists are pretty sure our moon was created when a huge Mars sized object slammed into a very young Earth. That kind of chaotic planet building smash up, well, it probably wouldn't have even happened if Earth was all alone from the beginning.
So, what's the big deal? No other planets, maybe no moon, and without our moon, Earth's axis would wobble like a drunk top. We'd have these wild, unpredictable swings in climate. The regular seasons we all depend on would just vanish. Not to mention the ocean tides, which are so vital for so much life, they'd basically disappear. Our planet would be completely unrecognizable.
This brings us to the next layer of our cosmic problem. We've talked about what happens if our protectors vanish. Now let's talk about what happens when a threat actually makes it through. Before we even get to the big, scary, movie style asteroids, think about this. Every single day, over 100 tons of dust and sand sized particles from space slam into our planet. Yeah, most of it just burns up in the atmosphere as shooting stars, but it's a constant reminder of all the stuff that's flying around out there. But what if a big one gets through? A real planet killer. Well, this timeline shows just how fast everything would fall apart. The impact itself is just the beginning. The real horror is the aftermath. Within a week, the debris thrown into space would rain back down, heating the atmosphere so much that the sky would literally be on fire. And a month later, all that dust and smoke would block out the sun, plunging the Earth into a new ice age and starving whatever was left. So far, we've looked at threats from the outside, planets disappearing, asteroids showing up, but what if the threat was internal? What if one of Earth's most basic, fundamental features just switched off? I know it sounds like something out of a bad sci fi movie, but playing this out shows just how much we rely on our planet's constant motion, something we never ever think about. That's about how fast the Earth is spinning at the equator, 1,000 miles per hour. Now imagine the planet just screeches to a halt, but the atmosphere, thanks to inertia, it keeps going at over 1,000 miles an hour. What you get is a global windstorm so powerful it would make a nuclear bomb look like a firecracker. And it just gets worse from there. First, those winds would scour the surface clean of, well, everything: trees, buildings, us. Then, the oceans, which bulge at the equator because of the spin, would suddenly rush towards the poles in tsunamis that are impossible to even imagine. And finally, our magnetic field, the thing that protects us from deadly solar radiation which is generated by our spinning core, it would just collapse. Game over. And if somehow anyone survived that, the new reality would be just as awful. The planet would still be going around the sun, sure, but one day would now last an entire year. That means 6 straight months of scorching, unending sunlight, followed by 6 straight months of absolute freezing darkness. Nothing could survive that. So, after running through all these, frankly, pretty terrifying scenarios, what's the big takeaway here? It's that our planet's ability to host life isn't a given. Not at all. It's the result of a really precise and really fragile set of conditions. You see, each disaster we talked about highlights one of these absolutely critical ingredients for life. Without our cosmic neighbors, we lose our perfect orbit and our bodyguard, Jupiter. Without our moon, we lose our stable seasons. And without our planet's spin, we lose our magnetic shield and any chance of a survivable climate. It's not just a list of features, it's a web. You break one tiny thread, and the whole thing unravels. Ultimately, thinking about all this isn't about being scared, it's about appreciation. It's about being in absolute awe. It forces you to realize that we live in this unbelievably special place, a delicate machine humming along perfectly in the vast, cold silence of space. And that leaves us with one heck of a question to think about. What does our fragile existence really tell us about our place in the universe?